Hi everyone, and welcome to our next CEM homework review video for Year 5 Block 6. We're actually going to be focusing on the Week 2 tasks in this video, so hopefully you're in the right place if you want to review your homework from the lesson 3 content that we did. So I'm going to bring up the video slides, so hopefully you're in the right place to review all of the tasks that we've set for Week 2. Let's just have a little look at the homework overview, just so you're clear about what this video will actually cover. So we're actually going to be focusing initially on Test 11. That's going to be on page 17. And then we're going to look at Test 12, called Change a Letter. Then we're actually going to be working our way through 13 up to 17, and that covers pages 19 to 23. And it's all going to come from your Let's CEM Quick Practice Test book for English and Verbal Reasoning. If you did get a chance to do the You Could, fantastic, but obviously this video will just review all of the You Must tasks. I'm going to put Billy in the bottom corner just so it's easy for you to focus. Let's have a look first of all at Test 11, page 17. So we would ask you to time yourself in your homework. So for this particular test, we'd ask you to time yourself for 3 minutes, and you've got 10 questions to do. As you are only making a word choice, we would expect you hopefully to try and get through those within the time. Let's have a look at the example. So what we need to do on these questions is find and identify one word where there is a spelling mistake. So only one of them will be spelt incorrectly. You must use the space that you're given, because sometimes by writing the word down, it's a lot easier to see the correct spelling. So we'd certainly use that as a strategy. You probably haven't got time to do that for every single question, but certainly it can be useful to do that. Let's have a look at the example. So we've got spread, smear. Now this isn't how you spell scarce. So if I was to write down how I spell scarce, you can see, look, that they've got an S rather than the C. Scary and seared, they are correct. Now the other thing you can do in these type of questions is cross out the words that you know are spelt correctly, and that might just leave you with one that is theoretically kind of the odd one out, but the word that has been spelt inaccurately. Let's have a little look. Now what I am going to do down the side, and can use your word and meaning book here, is put the right spelling in your word and meaning book if you weren't aware of the exact spelling. Question 1, the answer here is hasten. They've added in another E, so hasten being quick. So hopefully you've got that one right. Question 2 is D, and we're looking for the word fascist here. So that's how you spell fascist. But they've obviously got an H in there as well. So D is the answer to question 2. Number 3, it's colour. Might have spotted that one quite quickly. 4, summer eyes they've got, which does make me laugh a little bit. It is summarise. So if we summarise something, we maybe have a conclusion, or you summarise a statement, you make it a bit shorter, or you might have done a balanced argument or something and you summarise it all at the end. So summarise. So well done on those first 4. These are quite tricky, but don't worry if you found them difficult. It's all about building up your knowledge. Question 5, we've got B, and the word here is generous. So it has an OUS ending. 6, the wrong spelling is of renovated. If you've renovated your house, you've kind of improved your house, you've had it renovated. Maybe had a new kitchen or a new room decorated, so renovated. Question 7, we've got desperate here. This is often spelt incorrectly. It's a bit like the word separate, I often think, in terms of it often being inaccurately spelt. So what have they done? Well, they've actually added in an A there. We needed an E. So well done if you spotted that one. That was a little bit of a sneaky one. Question 10, we've got aggrieved. Now where we can apply the rule here is I before E, except after C. So aggrieved. So it should have the I before the E here. Number 9, we've got peasant, and the answer is E. And again, if you think of peasant, it should have ANT at the end, not an E-N-T. So it's a bit blurry, so not easy to see, but obviously looking in your books, you'll be able to spot that. Question 10, it's B, and the wrong spelling here is theatre. So well done if you spotted that. So they've got both the E and the A the wrong way round, and it's not ER, it's RE. Well done if you got 10 out of 10 on that. Very impressive, not an easy section at all. But if you did manage 10 out of 10, a big thumbs up. Let's move on to the next test. The next test is test 12, and this is on page 18, and we're still obviously in this Let's Verbal Reasoning quick practice test book, and it is the ages 10 to 11 book. I know there is a 9 to 10 version, so hopefully you've got the 10 to 11 one ready. Now on these ones, these are quite good fun. The idea is you need to change one letter, and it is only changing one letter from the word in capitals to create a new word that matches the definition provided. Write the new word on the line. This section is saying that it's going to take you 4 minutes and there is 12 questions. I think certainly that is a real challenge, and I wouldn't be surprised if you didn't quite get all of them done in 4 minutes. So maybe you want to extend the time a little bit, maybe give yourself a little bit longer. But do the ones that you can, and we'd always advise that in a normal test, just to go down through the ones you can quickly do and then go back to the ones that are a bit more challenging. So let's have a look, and I'm going to write the words down for you on here and tell you what letter obviously has changed. So we've got start, and we need a word that means clever. So of course it's going to be smart. So only changing one letter, and of course in this situation we're changing the T. Question 2, we've got house and then to drench. And this word, and it might be a new word for some of you, is to douse. If you douse something, you drench it, make it wet. Alloy, to permit, and we've got allow. So the only letter we were changing there was the Y. And then we've got deflect, and to think deeply or carefully. Something you may do is reflect on things. So look back, think about what you've done. Reflect. Question 5, we've got petrol, and then the clue we're given, and the clue obviously is really important. An expedition to keep watch over an area. So this is patrol. Patrolling an area. So it might be a warden or a police officer patrolling. Let's go and have a look at question 6. We've got power, and this is to crouch down in fear. That's to cower. So the letter we're changing is the P to a C. Question 7, we've got holder, to shout loudly, and the word we're looking for here is holler. So if you shout, you holler. That again wasn't an easy one, so if you don't struggle on it, you move on to the next one. The next one's a bit easier. Attack, to join or fasten, of course, is attach. So it has an H at the end rather than the K. And then we've got merry, compassion or forgiveness, of course, is mercy. So again, well done if you got that one right. Wretch, and then the sudden violent twist or pull is a wrench. And then question 11, debase, and then to argue about something is to debate. Debate something. I think these ones are quite tricky, but again, if you manage to do these, well done. But hopefully they're not causing you too much problem. Defer, to discourage someone from doing something. Well, that's to deter them. If you deter someone, you put them off doing it. You say, no, that's not a good idea. Deter them. So for any of these words, particularly maybe some of the new unusual ones like holler you may not have come across, or cower, put them in your word and meaning book, record them down, because they may well be words that may come up in your exam that you need to know. So it's all about building up your word knowledge. Remember, words are power. Let's move on to the next ones. Now these are quite a few tests in a row. We've got 13, 14, 15, 16 and 17, and it's running from pages 19 to 23. So let's have a look at test 13. Now test 13 is actually looking at synonyms. So we're trying to find one word that is a synonym to the word at the top. So you've got 5 options. Only one of them, of course, is going to be a synonym. Now, it's actually only giving you 2 minutes here to do 7 questions. So again, that's super speedy. We might suggest at this stage of the year to actually give yourself a little bit longer. Maybe you could achieve that nearer your exam, but maybe give yourself a bit longer if you need it. So, number 1, we've got tremble, and the answer, of course, is shiver. Urgent, critical. Quarrel, which obviously means to kind of argue, and that's to row. Now, obviously, this is an interesting word because you can say it in a couple of different ways. You can say row, as in row your boat, but you can say row, as in to argue or quarrel. Number 4, pacify, appease, pacify the situation. Incapable, unable. Sorry, it's a little bit fuzzy here. Ideal, model, and then bashful and diffident. So if you didn't know what diffident meant, obviously record that down in your word and meaning book as well. So these words are again quite challenging. I always say as well, it's not worth just knowing the answer words, it's also worth knowing the words within the question as well. So please do make sure that you do learn these words. Right, let's move on to the next ones. The next set of questions is called fill the letters. So we've got to fill in some letters here. I'm going to choose a slightly different colour. We're going to need to use the clue that we're given to hopefully help us with the word. So the example was elbow, and it was a joint in the arm, of course. So we've got to fill in the letters in the gap, but it must be a word that fits with this little clue that we're given on the right. So to stick to a surface or a substance is adhere. But you can also say to adhere to the rules, to stick to the rules. To persuade someone to do something, this is coax. Try and make sure that the letters fit in the boxes. Free, we've got extremely poor, is destitute. So again, if we write in the letters here, destitute. And you do need to make sure the letters are accurate, otherwise you won't get the mark, unfortunately. So as you go down through, tick the ones that you've done. And then we've got to surround and harass, and this is besiege. So again, grab my pen, we've got besiege. There's actually 2 E's missing here. There's 3 E's in total in besiege. And again, if you've got it right, give yourself a nice tick. Moving on to number 5. This is the word we've come across quite a lot during the year. This is commence, and the clue, of course, is begin. So commence. One of the first to explore a new area, they are described as a pioneer. Someone like Christopher Columbus. Number 7, a substance diffused in the air is a vapour. Number 8, impudent. Again, I should be obviously using the clues first, but not showing due respect for another person. And then we've got to copy, so we're looking for a word like mimic, and another synonym for mimic or copy is imitate. So it's about using the letters as well that are already there. That should guide you to what these words should be. Now, I can see already here, look, I expect that's probably an E on the end, okay? And it looks like the word assemble. So to put something together, when you assemble something, you put it together. Well done if you managed to get all 10 on there. Again, not an easy section at all, but we'd be very impressed if you got all of those right, but certainly picking up as many marks as you can. You can't always be expected to get everything right. Hopefully you're learning as you go along as well. And I do like these little clues, and these little clues could be the ones that you write directly into your word and meaning book. Looking at test 15, this is a closed passage. So what we're looking to do here is add in the words into the passage. So it's a little bit more detailed than what we've just done, in the sense the word must also fit within the sentence. Now, I'm going to have a look at number 1, and the first word that we need here is earned. Now, it might be actually worth me getting a slightly thinner pen, just so I can fit in the letters. They're quite small boxes here. So let's go with a green, but I'm going to make it slightly thinner just so we can fit it in. So the first word is earned. We've obviously got to make sure it fits in the sentence. So, Cyclone was a grizzly cub from Alaska who earned his name due to his wild and energetic personality. When his mother was fired at on a, now timbered is the word we're looking for here, so timbered hillside facing Chilkat River, he and his brother ran away as fast as their, now this word is stumpy, so their stumpy little legs could carry them. When they, and this word is crept, back to where they had last seen her, they thought her asleep and something up close against. Now if you're sort of up close with someone, you're probably cuddling. That's 2 D's. And then the G needs to go in there for cuddling. Close against her yet warm body, and they slept peacefully until morning. And then if we go before the early morning sun had reached their side of the mountains, the 2 orphans were, now it will be awakened, so they were woken up. So you need a, let's do a capital E there, a capital E there. So awakened by the first grasp of human hands. Valiantly, in other words bravely, we need 2 L's there, they bit and scratched and bawled aloud with rage. However, it was all in, now that's in vain. In other words, it didn't matter how much they complained, it was in vain, as they were eventually captured and driven away. Cyclone and his brother wondered what lay ahead for them. During the long journey, they were fed some fresh salmon, which they ate ravenously. So if you're very hungry, ravenously. So it's an O, as an A, an O, and a Y there. They did not arrive at their destination until nightfall. So I hope that's clear. Again, it is all about trying to use the context of the sentence. And certainly using some of the punctuation as well to guide you through, but certainly the context is the most important thing, and also the letters that exist there already. So well done if you managed to get all of those correct. So that was out of 12. And let's have a look at the next section that we need to do, and this is called rearrange the words. Now you've got 8 minutes here to do 8 questions, obviously quite a long time, and what you're looking to do is actually rearrange the words so that you can form a correct sentence. Now what this kind of helps and supports you with is obviously reshuffled sentences, but I think in these particular ones you're not looking for a word that you don't use, you need to use all of them. So I'm just going to write the sentences out, and then we will sort of cross through the words that we've used. So we've got the first word here, which is travelling. So travelling, so again I'm just going to cross it out as we go along, is one way, is one way to learn about other cultures. About, running out of room a little bit, so we'll just come down here. Other cultures. So travelling is one way to learn about other cultures. So as you can see, I've used all the words. So this isn't like the superfluous one or jumbled sentences. You've got to use them all. Now in the next one, we've got a couple of different options here. We can do all the flowers in the garden turn to face the sun, or we could say the flowers in the garden all turn to face the sun. So it doesn't really matter. So I'm going to go with the second one. The flowers. So it's starting with an article. So the what you could say. Well, you could say the garden. You could say the flowers. You could say the sun. Okay, so sometimes it's a bit of trial and error. The flowers in the garden all turned to face the sun. All turned to face the sun. But as I did say to you, you can have the other sentence, which still makes sense, where you say all the flowers in the garden turn to face the sun. Okay? So if we can cross out all the words there that we've used, two thes, no, three thes in that sentence, aren't there? The, and the. Question 3. Sloping had the a hooked shoulders and manned nose. So the sentence here is the man had a hooked nose and sloping shoulders. So let's just write that out. The man had a hooked nose. Often how you can describe someone's nose. A hooked nose. Sorry, my K is not very clear there, but that should say hooked nose and sloping shoulders. So not broad necessarily, but they were sloping. Sloping shoulders. And as you went through, it's a really good idea, of course, make sure you put a full stop at the end, but you are crossing out the words as you use them, because then it will show you that you've managed to get all of them into that sentence. Number 4, what have we got here? Before gushed water forest the through tumbling down the cliff. So the sentence we're looking here for number 4 is the water. The water gushed. When something gushes, it goes really quickly. So gushed through. Trying to write a little bit quicker. Through the. Now, what would it gush through? Well, it gushed through the forest before tumbling down the cliff. Tumbling down the cliff. So it's just about thinking about the order that would go in terms of the water. So the water gushed through the forest before tumbling down the cliff. Now I think certainly with these, even though you're not finding the word that you don't require, these are still really good practice to do. And certainly even maybe mums and dads giving you sentences that you need to reshuffle, it's always good practice, always looking out for how you're going to start the sentence. So we're starting with a lot of them with the, as you can see, but thinking about, well, what could come next? The what? The forest, the water, the cliff, and then looking for verbs. Every sentence will contain a verb, and then also looking out for things like adjectives in front of nouns as well. So what have we got next? Published scientists in the article that many newspaper the criticised was. Well, the sentence we're looking for here is many scientists criticised, and that means to say that they don't agree with something, they're criticising it, saying it's not very good. Criticised the article. Article's like an account of something that was. Many scientists criticised the article that was published. You may remember we had publication as one of your spellings last week. Published in the newspaper. Well done, if you got that sentence. Number 6. Now the sentence we need here is the charming. So we're describing someone. The charming salesman sold many cars and became rich. So again, crossing out the words that we've used. And you can see we've used all of them. I'd do the same up on question 5. I didn't cross out the words, but I should have done just to show you that there was no words left over. And that's the crucial thing. 2 more. Number 7, we've got failure. To recycle may result in a, fine, and we've got the word or here, or a more serious, what will it be? Of course, a more serious punishment. Now, hopefully you're able to keep it a bit neater than me, maybe keep it all on one line. But failure to recycle may result in a fine or a more serious punishment. So well done if you've got that one right. And again, when you get it first of all, or you've been working through this section, we hope you've been reading it as it's written. So contagious spread rapidly the population can diseases through. So contagious diseases. So contagious means it's easy to catch. Contagious diseases can spread rapidly through the population. And that's the last sentence on this particular section. So well done if you've managed to do all of these accurately, and certainly great practice for reshuffled sentences. Well done. Let's have a look at the antonym section. So we're flying through these tests now. We're on test 17. We're nearly there. You had 2 minutes to do this particular section. So again, 7 questions, a bit like the synonyms one that you did earlier. So let's just make sure we know the opposites. Reveal and conceal. So if you reveal something, you show it. Conceal, you hide it. Frequent and rare. I thought these ones were a little bit easier than some of the other ones we've done. Fragrant and putrid. Fragrant meaning nice smell, putrid not very nice. And then we've got wasteful and frugal. Abundance, we've come across that word a lot of times, haven't we, over the weeks. Scarcity. Feeble and powerful, feeble being weak. And then vast and minute. I thought that was probably the easiest section of your homework. 7 out of 7, but hopefully what you are noticing is a lot of these words that are coming up are words that you've come across before. And this is all about your retention. Can you remember how to define these words when you see them again? That is it, and hopefully if you did do test 18, 19 and 20, a big well done to you, a big pat on the back. Excellent if you're able to do a little bit of extra, but we hope you're able to follow through the you must tasks. Thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you found it useful and beneficial, and we certainly look forward to seeing you in your next live lesson. Take care. Thanks very much.